It is story time with Chesley and Karen. You know, we got a good one today. It's kind of sad and it's scary, and it's got some good things, though. Oh, yes, it does. And the name of our story today is I Have Prayed for You. And that was Jesus talking to Peter. And what's this all about? I think it gets kind of scary. Yeah, it does get kind of scary. You gonna let me sing? Oh, yes, you can always sing. I thought you was ready to plunge into your Bible story. Well, I think I need to sing first. There was this song, you know, when you was a kid, you told me about it. I mean, I wasn't around then, but when you was a kid, you said you used to sing this song. 1, 2, 3, the devil's after me. 4, 5, 6, he's always throwing bricks. 7, 8, 9, he listening every time. Hallelujah, hallelujah. 8, 9, 8, 7, I'm on my way to heaven. 6, 5, 4, I'm almost at the door. 3, 2, 1, the victory now is won. Hallelujah, hallelujah, amen. All right, and so we have the victory when we live for the Lord. Okay, now Chesley, this story today, it was really a sad time because Jesus knew that it was just about time that he was going to be crucified. He knew it's going to happen. Yes, you know, he knew that when he lived in heaven with his Father, and then he had come to die, he came to live as a little boy, became a little baby, and then he grew up, and now he knew the time was come that he was going to have to die. He knew this was just, it was just very close. It happened even tonight. And he thought he wanted to have a final meal with his disciples. Did they know what was happening? He had tried to tell them that he was not here to be their earthly leader. They thought he was going to conquer the Romans. That's what they thought, that he was going to be our deliverer from these Romans, and they weren't thinking about a heavenly kingdom like he was trying to talk to them about. They weren't listening to anything about that. But this was the time now was come. And the Bible tells us that Satan had entered into Judas, one of his disciples. Oh, that's just terrible. How did that happen? How did he get caught off guard? He didn't get caught off guard. But, you know, he just had in his heart that he wanted to be the big it, and he was really involved with the money. And well, somebody's got to take care of it. Oh, somebody's got to take care of it. You want to take good care of it. And he wasn't trustworthy. He just didn't like the way things were going. Well, anyway, Jesus was come now to this time. It's going to be what would be their final supper before he was crucified. And then he's going to be gone. Oh, but he had told them he would rise again. And was they listening? They didn't pay any attention. They wasn't thinking about dying. No. He was going to be their great leader that would deliver them. But anyway, it's going to happen just like Jesus said, and he tried to prepare them. So this is going to be the final meal, and so as they were gathered around for this final meal, Jesus had some important words to say to them. What was he? One is the crook, we know that. And he said, one of you sitting here with me right now is going, you're going to betray me. And I think they're going to say, is it me? Is it me? That's what the Bible says they did say. Not I. Is it me? No, I wouldn't do that. What about old Simon? Simon Iscariot. He said, oh, is it me, Lord? And he knew it was him. He knew it was him. But he was that evil that he said, oh, is it me? Pretended like, he didn't know he was the one. And Jesus still loved him. Jesus still loved him. And he had some words to say to these people, and they just thinking, oh, we would never do such a thing. Except Simon might have said he wouldn't, but he knew that he would. And then Jesus said something really important to Peter. He looked at him. Now, Peter's name was Simon Peter. And he said, Simon Peter, and when you call those names, you get attention. It's like when your mother says, both of your names. That's right. Most everybody will say when their parent called them by their first and their middle name, they knew that they better pay close attention. Maybe it was like that. And he said to him, Simon Peter, Satan has demanded permission to sift you like wheat. Did you see him? Here, the old Satan did that. Just like Satan went to God about Job in the Old Testament and said the only reason he lives for you is because you bless him and protect him. It's like you've got a hedge built around him, a fence that no evil can get in. And so Job, he did. The Lord let him go ahead and do the mean things that he did, but Job was true. This is the same type situation when he said Satan has demanded permission and says He says that you'll fail it. He said, I know this. He said, you will deny me. He said 3 times. Oh, he said, I'm not going to do it. He couldn't believe it. And he honestly didn't think he would. He said, it'll never happen. I wouldn't even think of it. I wouldn't deny you. There is no way. Like he was saying, I'm one of your close disciples. I would never do it. I'm going to be here for you. I'd die for you. I'd do anything. And Jesus looked at him and he said, Simon Peter, he said, even this very night, he said, before the rooster crows, cock-a-doodle-doo. That's it, before the rooster crows, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo. 3 times, he said, you will deny me, that you even know me. Oh, Peter couldn't believe it. He said, it's not going to happen. I will do anything. I will always be faithful to you. Jesus knew that he was going to be under attack. And he said, Peter, listen to me. Simon Peter, yes, Simon Peter, I have prayed for you that your faith fail not. And when this is all over with and when you are converted, he said, then you help others that are in bad situations. That could be in situations like him when they fail. I don't think he even believed it. I don't think he did either. I don't think he even believed that. But it happened. And after the meal, Jesus said, it was a wonderful meal, and he had blessed them and done everything he could to help them. It was over with. Here came Judas. And all this, they had gone out to, first they had gone out to pray. Jesus had gone to pray. And that's what Judas knew. He always prays. That's an important thing. To always pray. You knew you could always find Jesus praying. And so, that's where they came to get him. When he was praying, Jesus was praying, but he had told his disciples, you pray with me. And he prayed, but they didn't pray. Not even Peter, of all the ones. They all needed to pray, but Peter didn't. They didn't pray. They just slept. And now here comes these people to get Jesus. And they're scared now as they see this mob. I think because they had swords and things. That's right, because they had swords, they had all this weaponry, and they were serious. Because they hated Jesus and they were with him, and so they ran away. And so most of them run, but Peter, he kind of followed. He waited, and when he saw they was building a fire in the courtyard, and so he went and he hung out there, and he thought they didn't know what he would recognize him. He hoped nobody would, but he did want to know kind of what was going on. And so he was listening, and this little girl come by, this young maid come by, and she said, you were with Jesus, you're one of his disciples. And what did he say? What did he say? Well, he said, it wasn't me. I wasn't. You know what? He denied. It's one of them times. He denied that's the first time. Well, a little bit of time went by, and here come a young man by. And he said, you were with him. You're one of Jesus. No, he said, it was not me. Don't you say it was? It wasn't me. No, sir, it was not me. Oh, he just denied it at all. He didn't know anything about it. The Bible said about an hour went by. And what's going on with Jesus? Well, they're having this trial, and they're kind of a mock trial. They weren't really serious. They just hated him. They were being mean to him, and they were hitting him and slapping him. Anything they could do to be mean and insult him and tell him he really wasn't the Son of God. And then here come a man in. He said, he was with him. He said, I know he was. He was with one. Why, he was with him. And Peter did. This is the third time. This is the third time. And he said, well, I don't even know him. I never heard of him. I never seen this guy. And then what happened? Oh, no, it's 3 times. And it was that cock had crowed, right? Is that right? And all of a sudden it was, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo. It was, the cock crowed, and there Peter had denied the Lord 3 times. You know what happened? Tell me. Jesus turned and looked at Peter. No, you mean in the middle of all his suffering, he thought about Peter? You know, he did. He had compassion for Peter in that moment. Well, Jesus was the one on trial. It wasn't Peter. I know it wasn't Peter. But Jesus had such compassion for Peter. He had warned him, and Peter didn't listen. He didn't pray. So he didn't have any strength that he could resist. But Jesus looked at him, and he said, I told you so. No, he did not. I believe it was a look of love. And it was a reminder to Peter, remember what I told you, this is Satan. And remember what else I told you? When you are converted, heal others. When you are converted, there was hope. Peter knew there was hope for him. But he ran out of that place, and he forsook Jesus. It wasn't a matter of forsaking Jesus. Now it was a matter of going and repenting. He felt he waited a little bit too late. It was late, but not too late. We do know that Jesus was crucified, but you know what? Peter went. The Bible said he wept bitterly. Does that mean he cried like a baby? He cried. I believe he sobbed. He felt so bad. He was so guilty. And he realized, I wasn't strong. I thought I was. I think sometimes we think that we're really strong, and Jesus knows we're not, so we need to pray. He knows we're not, so we need to pray. And it's just saying some words. It's not just saying words. It's from your innermost, what we saw, the innermost being your heart. You're sincere. You cry out for help. Lord, he said, I'm guilty. I've done this, and I didn't realize I wasn't strong. Then he said, then I know you are strong. But he could say, yes, Lord, you are strong. And yes, I want to work for you. And that's exactly what he did later on. But we know we have to leave now. We got to finish this story because we left them in suspense. No, we did not leave them in suspense. They can read it for themselves. We can tell another story next week. Next Sunday, we'll be back. And right now is your time to go to bed. You know something? I don't think this is fair at all. I think I should get to stay up until midnight. No, you're not staying up until midnight. Would you just stop and think about it? You've been up. This is twice today. Yeah, because I got to do the missionary story at church today. That's right. You got to do the missionary story this morning for our missionary spotlight. And right now that is over. And right now the story is over. And I'm older. Yes, Chesley, you are over, and we'll see you next Sunday. You have a great evening. We'll see all of you next week, and you have a great rest of the day.